listened. I'm very pleased. I'm doing the work, let these people listen. The thing is that my Elter Zayde, Shmuel Avigdor Faberson, that Indiana Rov, wrote two svarim.
The Yan again?
Plungyan. It's very close, I think, to the German border. It's very close to the Goyishkeit.
I'm not from Lita.
It's Lita, but there are different parts of Lita. The part of Lita that was to the west was more Goyish than the part that was to the east. Right? The part that was to the west was influenced by Germany. The part to the east was influenced by Russia. Russia was anyways mefager. They weren't afraid of the modern Russian Inyoni, because there were no modern Russian Inyoni. There were modern German Inyoni. Tov. So you had two svarim. One sefer of the Roshis. My father, YM Schneider, the next to Eli, told me that it was written in a very modern signon. The Joshua that they had given as Rav in Plungyan and in the cities before. He had been altogether Rav in 4 cities. And the Sefer of Chidushim. Now, Shmuel Avigdor Faberson passed away in Kislev, Tov Reish Pei Hei. It's 1925. And my Zaidi had his ksavim. How that happened exactly, I don't know. My Zaidi was already in America. But maybe my grandmother brought them when she came. He was the oldest son. And my grandmother came in 1927 together with my mother and my uncle, Baruch Nachum. Anyways, it was by my Zaidi all the years, these manuscripts. Then when my Zaidi got sick and he was put in a home, so they came to my father's house. Now, besides these two manuscripts, my father also wrote Chidushim. Especially, he wrote on the Hilchos Beis HaBechira of the Rambam. After the 6-Day War, they became very excited about the Mikdash, and they wrote these Chidushim. The question is, where are they? They disappeared, unfortunately. So, since people are listening, help find these manuscripts. Chabal, if they get lost. Also, this Ya'ish.
Also, the Meiri became very famous. They printed the Meiri in that time, I think. They found Kitvei Yad.
What does it have to do with
he wrote Perish on the Meiri.
Not on the Meiri, on the Rambam.
On the Rambam.
On the base of the Torah. Okay, on the Meiri was written by a Rav called Zimmerman, I think. He put out a beautiful Meiri, a beautiful sefer where he shows how the Meiri is answering up the Rambam. And it was like he takes the Rambam, he takes the Kashas in the Rambam, and he makes the Meiri into like a Kesef Mishnah, using the Meiri to answer, to address these questions. I think it's Dov Zimmerman or something like that. Very beautiful sefer.
Just again, to straighten something out, the Schneiders came to America through the ill-fated trip in 1924.
Not the Schneiders, the Feiblsons.
The Feiblsons.
It was Mazzadi. He's a Feiblson. It was his. It seems it was his idea. It was his duchval. It was his fashla, and he had to take responsibility. And the way to take responsibility was not to go home, right? In other words, he didn't feel that they would treat him fairly, because the truth is, he tried. It was an idea. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What can you do? In other words, he didn't deserve to be put in front of a firing squad. But that's what might have happened.
So when did the Schneiders get to America?
Oh, the Schneiders got to America. In other words, if you want to hear the story of my father, I will tell it to you, juxtaposed with my Zaidi story. Then you'll see the miracles. Okay, so let's start with my father's story. My father was born in Tafrei Samachay, maybe. Shmini Atzeres, one of those years around there, 1905. My Zaidi was born in 1883, like 20 years before. So...
25.
What?
25.
Okay. Not exactly 25, because it's 22. want to be exact. If those are the exact years, Tafresh Mem Gimel, 1883 to Tafresh Samachay, 1925. Now, when my father was born, he was like born a genius. He was born a genius. But common sense said he would be a Sherlock Holmes tailor. Right? His father was a tailor, that's what he would be. He had no chance of going up in the world, of going to Harvard University.
Aponovich.
No, he had not. He had no chance in the world. What happened was there was a world war. The world war moved them out of Aniksht to this village, which was near Sumayich. So my father got to learn in the chofetz Chaim's yeshiva, which was in Golis in Sumayich, and he got to learn by
with the chofetz Chaim. The chofetz Chaim was there.
For sure, he was there. And
I never knew this.
Of course, the chofetz Chaim was there. Reb Herschel was there. The chofetz Chaim's son-in-law, Reb Herschel Levinson, Reb Naftali Traub, Lezer Lufts, and my father all of a sudden was shoved into the lion's den. He was shoved into a bunch of real gedolim, of the greatest people of Klal Yisrael. And he became great in Torah. But that was like a miracle. It shouldn't have happened. It only happened because of the war. Because so happens that they ended up in that direction, and they ended up in that direction, and the two directions met, and that was it.
Reminds me of somebody, I knew a story. Somebody came from like Los Angeles, California, and he ended up next door to Rabbi Yashiv, downstairs from our Shul Shapiro. All of a sudden, in the big leagues, Nishma Mukar.
But it's like you have to be makid. It's like about the chesed, because for every person who wins, there's tens and hundreds and thousands who lose, who never even get a chance to get up to bat. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, my Zeddy was also kicked out of Lita, because all the Jews of Lita were kicked out. And he ended up in Ural. Now, how far away is Ural from Sumayich? I haven't the faintest idea. That you have to look at a map. And how far away was my father from his potential father-in-law? I don't know.
Okay.